Hi guys, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood, finally back with the Dark Shadows video. I'm here to read from the Dark Shadows uh, Daybook, or more specifically the Collinsport Historical Society, to read Patrick McRae's latest article that he wrote about the final episode of Dark Shadows, which he did drop on April 2nd, that's the day that in 1971, Dark Shadows had its final episode, as you may or may not know. If you are a Dark Shadows fan, you most likely know that. If you aren't a Dark Shadows fan, welcome to the channel. um, so, aired on this day in 1971, episode 1245 by Patrick McRae. When Brutus makes the mistake of chuckling, Bramwell and Catherine find salvation in a convenient rooster. Bramwell, Jonathan Fred, repeat. 23 minutes. Bramwell and Catherine navigate their last hours in the cursed room. Brutus almost wins, Catherine over. But common sense rules the day. Later, Morgan attacks and falls to his death. Oh, my darling, I feel guilty when you call me that. But you are my darling. Yes, yes, you always will be. Yes. We will leave here within the week. We will forget everything that ever happened here. No, I cannot forget. I'll remember now that I must follow my heart, not my head. I will never make that mistake again. Never forget that you will always have my love, that I will remember. Sam Hall, Dark Shadows, 1245. Even though the final episode of Dark Shadows has minutes to go, these lines basically ended spiritually. The rest is just a matter of tipping the Padre on the way out and being the first to hit the on before those damn kids make off with far more demonstration than they've any right to. I've left off the character names. This is Bramwell and Catherine. Yes, that means it's Jonathan Frid and Laura Parker. And then we see them. We really see Barnabas and Angelique. And when we hear them speak of the past, it could mean any point on the spectrum of time that radiates from them words like these, or similar, could have been spoken by either character at a number of points, most notably points in 1840. It's good to be home for all of us, just in time to say goodbye, unfortunately. The final episode of the series coincides with the anniversary of the Daybook, and I am compelled to revisit it because in a story with no map, it is nonetheless our destination, kind of by the very nature of the text. It is the ending of Thus the Point, what is Dark Shadows, but Zeno's cliffhanger. Uh, our hands have slipped 1,223 times, and to our thankful dismay and tiny outcropping of plot presented itself just as many times to keep us from plunging permanent over for permanent. We may root for Catherine and Bramwell and Melanie and Kendrick too in this episode, but we're all Morgan Collins plunging away from a Collinwood without end. This is so much. There is so much emotion and background noise of series significance going on in this final episode that it's easy for a guy like me to get distracted. I'm so busy with the sizzle that I don't even notice the steak. The episode is doing several opposite things at once and manages to pull off the destiny of Dark Shadows while it's at it it speaks to love and loneliness. It speaks to limits and forgiveness. How? Well, what's going on with Brutus at this hour of the morning? I'm seeing a bad husband catching his wife in the arms of someone who actually cares about her. Brutus' response, the picture of relationship privilege, he ignores the love struck sap and simply tells his wife to knock it off and come to bed. At first, anyway. No, no, Catherine isn't Amanda. We get it. But stop the presses, Olson, because Catherine's not Catherine either, symbolically. She's Angelique, with hippier hair. This is a metaphorical afterword and an epilogue and crota and Columbian one more thing, so just go with it. Note that Brutus isn't even wrathful with the fool who's wasting his time being in love with his wife. Brutus just chuckles at him, which is what I imagine most husbands do regarding the rest of us just because they knew about the marital job fair that we single guys slept through. Day ain't over yet, my friends. Remember when I said it spoke to loneliness? Yes, my implication. So Brutus is chuckling like a Rembrandt cover of the Monopoly Man, telling Catherine, come to me, come to me. She's considering it. Amidst this laughter, Bramwell points out to Catherine that going with the evil ghost Poppy isn't the best life plan. I mean, does Brutus say come to me to every blonde who's cheating on one of his descendants with another one of his descendants? That's a good question. Your golf ball, your car, does everything belong to you? Not so fast, Brutus. She's not Amanda. And everyone admits that you've had too many victims, which begs the question: how many victims can you have as a Collins patriarch and still be considered a decent marriage prospect? Yeah, but these husbandos are clever. Watch Brutus swallow his pride and falsely contribution contribution as he asks Catherine, a woman he's never met, to forgive him. And it works. Once again, Dark Shadows is the most realistic show on TV. The abusive, symbolic husband proclaims he still loves her, despite the body count, and Catherine seems perfectly enthused by it. What does this guy these guys have? These abusive, privileged schmucks act like they own the world because the women in their lives treat them like they, well, own the world. Everybody knock it off. It's the 21st century and you're all part of the problem now. I mean, seriously. This is important. This isn't just my standard single lament. This is Dark Shadows' last appeal to their key demographic. Anyway, Bramwell tries to restrain her. Brutus force chokes him, and the only way that Brutus loses is by gloating so much that Catherine comes to her senses. That and he looks pretty silly in that collar. A rooster crows. Brutus's time is up. Catherine will stick with the guy who actually loves her, and I privately hope that maybe life's solitude can end like that for us all. Or for all of us, sorry. Yeah, I know. It's asking a lot. The story of Dark Shadows begins with a woman trapped at home because she lacked the option of divorce. So she thought. Yes, okay, there's an attempted murder in there. But we look over that because the show does. It ends very differently. Better choices are possible with enough time. with enough of a pause. The rooster crows. The worst of us goes back into the coffin. The best of us wait to use a fireplace poker that only parts Dennis Patrick Sayer. Impetuousness is the enemy here. Yes, Catherine, you say that's life's villain, is the practice of the heart following the head, rather than the other way around. Incorrect. Neither heart nor head are unimportant if you simply take the time for them to catch up with each other. Dark Shadows is about patience. In this sense, it speaks to viewers as well, forcing them to be patient 1,244 times in a row in a show about rituals. It is the greatest ritual of all. Clocks dominate. Time is a prison as Dark Shadows leaves the air. We are given one last gift, choosing which side of the bars will occupy. The series left the world of the living on April 2nd, 1971. Very, very good job by my buddy Patrick McRae here. Link to the Collinsport Historical Society will be in the description box, guys. Have a good day.